I start to sing and dance. We're going to start today with a YMCA camp song, if that's okay with everybody. So, Alan, would you like to start that? So I'd like to just thank everybody for coming today. It's another example of how when we bring committed people to the table to solve really solve problems, it's something that we really can commit to as a community. So my name is Steve Jobin. I'm the president and CEO of the Raritan Bay Area YMCA in Perth Amboy. And I have to tell you, I have an amazing support team that does great things every day. And I just want to start by thanking the team here at the center, led by Lauren. Thank you. I also want to thank our board of volunteers. We are a nonprofit organization driven by volunteers. I want to thank Alan Papp for being here this morning. Thank you. So if you know anything about the Y, we do very little without partners. Whether it's partnering with the city to manage the public safety complex and all the recreation facilities in that facility, which is amazing. Whether it's here on Smith Street and our partnerships with various different organizations, whether it's our affordable housing programs, and our friends from Coming Home are here today. It's a never-ending process to really develop resources to serve our community. So we are totally committed to that, and that really is what brings us here today. But we couldn't do that without real leadership. And so Mayor Cava has become a friend to not just me, but the Y. And I want to personally thank him for his dedication to provide the resources and the support mechanisms through the various departments that you have and the levers of government that we need to support our community. And if we're not all pushing in the same direction, we've all been there, and it's fragmented, and it just doesn't really serve our community the way it needs to. So through his leadership, I've really had the opportunity to become more friends with him. And although way back in the day he did work with Y when we first opened, but we're friends in a different way now. And I just want to thank him personally and ask him to come up and say a few words.
Thank you, Steve. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests. You're right, Steve. It's all about working together. And today, as we gather here to celebrate the grand opening of the Healthier Access Office, it is important to acknowledge and commend the tireless efforts and dedication of the YMCA staff and volunteers who have turned this vision into a reality. Your commitment to serving those in need, empowering individuals to overcome barriers, and fostering a sense of belonging is truly admirable. And I want to thank all the community partners that are present here today. Steve, once again, you were right. It's all about working together, and everyone in this room has a vital part in this community, and I want to thank you for that. Healthcare access, as we all know, plays a crucial role in our community, particularly for the following groups: families involved with the New Jersey Children's System of Care, individuals experiencing homelessness and or housing insecurity, uninsured and or undocumented members of the Middlesex County community. The establishment of the Healthier Access Office at the YMCA represent a significant enhancement that will enable the provision of comprehensive services to marginalized, vulnerable individuals who often face limited access to basic resources. The city of Perth Amboy, with our diverse population comprised of approximately 80% Latinos, faces unique challenges, including a significant number of undocumented residents who are ineligible for social services, including health insurance. According to the census reports, 9% of children under 18 in Middlesex County live in poverty, while in Perth Amboy, that number rises to 27%, more than double the state average of 9.8%. Recognizing these disparities, the City of Perth Amboy, along with the Robertson Bay YMCA, have diligently worked to become the trusted partners and bridge any trust gaps within our community. The lack of basic medical care is a pressing issue for many in this community. The services provided by the YMCA are delivered in a culturally competent manner and in the preferred language of many clients, namely Spanish. It is important to emphasize that the services at the Healthier Access Office will be available to everyone who seeks assistance, regardless of insurance, immigration status, or housing situation. This commitment to inclusivity is a testament to the values we uphold as a city. On behalf of the City of Perth Amboy, I extend my heartfelt appreciation and gratitude to Steve Jobin and his entire team. Thank you. Your work has made a significant difference in the lives of many, the lives of countless individuals, and we are truly grateful for your service. In recognition of your exceptional contribution, I'm honored to present the Robertson Bay YMCA Center for Support, Success, and Prosperity, specifically the Healthier Access Office, with a mayoral citation. Please accept it as a token of our appreciation. We are eagerly anticipate continued collaboration and mutual support as we strive to enhance the well-being of everyone within our community. And I just want to say, in regards to the Healthier Access Office, it will complement the existing services provided by the center, including case management, homelessness prevention, and employment skills for our youth. Steve, at this moment, I want to present you and your staff with a mayoral citation on the occasion of the grand opening in the City of Perth Amboy and the Robertson Bay Area YMCA's relentless pursuit of excellence and dedication to serving the needs of our community. Congratulations. You're welcome. You're welcome. And once again, thank you to all, and let's celebrate together. This is a significant milestone here, the City of Perth Amboy today. Thank you.
I wrote it down. Because remember last time I had to do an introduction to you, and it's a huge crowd, and we were not in Perth Amboy. And I said, I got to dig this out, because I had the opportunity last year to introduce Speaker Coughlin. And so I won't go through the whole thing, Speaker, but I think it's notable. I think it's notable that we have a real friend in such a leadership position, and he's a great representative to our city and to the 19th Legislative District. So I wrote this down because it's a pretty comprehensive list of various different accomplishments. However, the one thing I think we will both agree is food insecurity is just simply unacceptable. And what today is an extension of that. When folks come to our center, they're looking for help in some way. It might be that they're on the streets and they just happen to know our team. It might be that they come here for our food pantry work, which is in partnership with Replenish, and you can see the stocks, the shelves. But when they come here, they'll see that friendly face. And that trusted voice of the Y is really something that we pride ourselves on. And to bring those folks to the table so that when they come here and they say, oh, by the way, I've got some medical issues as well, we have the opportunity to solve that problem too. Because if we're only solving one problem at a time, it's just simply not going to be impactful. However, let me digress. So we share that, Speaker, and he's a thoughtful, consensus-building leader. Craig has served in his 7th term as General Assembly representing the 19th Legislative District. Speaker Coughlin is a relentless advocate for New Jersey residents by enacting compassionate legislative agenda that includes middle-class tax rebate, increases to school funding, sponsoring New Jersey College Affordability Act, fighting for the senior freeze, restoration of the homestead rebate, improving the fairness of landlord-tenant relations, as well as revitalizing the workforce through investments to childcare and strengthening food insecurity. His legislative career has focused on lifting up. That's probably a bad. Lifting up working middle-class families, as he has led the way on smart investments in the state's economy. A longtime champion of food insecure communities, Speaker Coughlin spearheads an annual bowling fundraiser to benefit local food pantries, including RY. In partnership with dozens of businesses and organizations, the event has raised over $300,000. The most important thing that I can just tell you about Speaker Coughlin is that he raises his voice for us. It's not so he can be heard, it's so we can be heard. And it's something that I really have witnessed and appreciated. And I just want to thank him for his time and efforts, and thank you for coming today, and invite you to the podium.
Thank you, Steve, for that incredibly kind introduction, and I mean this in all sincerity. This is true. I've had the privilege to be introduced at countless number of events over the course of my career, particularly in the last 6 years as I've been at the speaker. And what Steve was alluding to was when he introduced me at the WISE event last year. He has given me the kindest, the most wonderful introductions of anyone who has ever introduced me. And I thank you for that, Steve. I'm truly humbled by that, and I really wasn't kidding when I said no, feel free, because he went on the last time to say even more things. But the truth of the matter is, it's reflective of the kind of person that Steve is. All of us who have the privilege of knowing him, and those of you who have the privilege of working with him, see not just the work that he does, which is extraordinary, but the person that he is, and the kindness that he has, and the genuine caring that he has. And so, Steve, thank you for that kind introduction. I can only hope to be close to your class in terms of commitment to people and making a difference. But today's a big day, and it's an exciting day. And I was here when they first opened the office. I was here when they first opened the food pantry, because, as Steve said, it's been the cornerstone of my speakership, is to fight food insecurity. And it's a fight that's one we can win. I'm telling you that it's a fight we can win. It's not that we have lack of food. We have a lack of getting food to people who desperately need it. And we start to change those things. It's an insidious enemy or opponent. No, actually, it's an enemy. We thought we were making progress when we first started 6 years ago. And then the pandemic came and set us back, and 2 million unemployment claims have had their impact. And now things are getting back to normal, and inflation rears its head and poses new challenges for people. We'll keep up with that fight, and it's a fight we're going to win because we can't give up. It's a matter of priority, and when we make it a priority, we're going to be successful. But today's a day to celebrate, really is. It's to celebrate all that that goes on in this building, and all of the hope that it brings to the people of Perth Amboy and the people that it serves, who are probably in many instances not from Perth Amboy, because people find their way to places where they can get genuine help and find genuine caring. And so I suspect, as Diane will tell us, there's lots of people from outside the border of Perth Amboy who come here and rely on these services. But that's consistent with the Y and its mission. The Y is an extraordinary organization who makes a difference throughout the state and the nation. And I got to make a shameless, well, not a shameless, I got to make a full disclosure thing. My wife happens to be on the board of directors for the Metuchen, Edison, Perth Amboy, Woodbridge, Sayreville. I don't know. There's like 10 names of towns in the thing. Y, but even if you discount it for that, the Y does tremendous amount of work. And the new office on healthier access, which will bring increasing services for people that need it, right? BMI screening, glucose. I got a checklist here: minor skin lacerations, pregnancy testing, mental health, which is a challenge that we know is real and has such a profoundly adverse effect on people's lives, and is a real challenge for communities. Finally, we are starting to pay attention to mental health in a way that we ought to have been for a long time, because it is the root cause of so many things, of poverty, of homelessness, of hunger, of violence and crimes. It's at the root cause of that, and we can help change that in a place like this, and the new office will do that. But I was looking at some of the other things that the Support Center for Success and Prosperity. You guys at the Y love long titles, right? The YMCA Center for Support, Success, Prosperity. You don't want to leave anything out. I mean, you get it. 1,900 meals, 72 nights of people in hotels, finding places for 96 individuals for permanent housing. And think of what a difference that makes in somebody's life. You go from being homeless, that is our next challenge. I think we're a great state. And to be a great state, you have to do, or to be a great nation, you have to do some things that are more important than governmental functions. I think they're closer to moral obligations, like feeding people, housing people, providing them with some level of health care, and making sure that they have hope and then a chance to succeed, which I see as education. And by the way, New Jersey has the best public education system in the country. Every year we should be proud of it. We invest heavily in it, and we get results for it. But to Steve's point earlier, what people will see when they come through here is not just the food on the shelves. That's maybe an immediate need. But when they see back here and they find out that they can address some issues far beyond what their immediate food and hunger needs are, you got to satisfy those, because there's nothing more debilitating than not being able, when you have to spend. Imagine every day waking up and saying, I've got to figure out how to feed myself and my family today, not next week. I can't put it off a little bit. I've got to do it today. And the more children you have, the more challenging that becomes, and more debilitating it is, and the more it is preventing you from living your fullest potential. So, but when you come here, you come to a place that's special. And I've talked about this in terms of food insecurity, because I think this is the kind of facility I'm thinking about when I talk about what happens when you first come to a food pantry. I think the next generation of food pantries will be places like this, where you come in to get some food and you're in a desperate situation. But now you've come to a place where you can get genuine help, surrounded by people who are caring. And I can't thank the people who are here, the staff who work here so hard, the volunteers like Alan. Thank you for all you do for the city of Perth Amboy. Thank you for all of the volunteers whose names I don't know. But you make a difference in people's lives. And so they come here when they're hungry, and then they come to a place and they find people who care, and they find an ability to get things done. And so we start. And we start by taking people from that first step of being hungry and desperate to the next step, to making sure that they get the social services that they need, to make sure that we start to educate them about not just that they need something to eat, but they need what they need to eat. We start to figure out how to help them to get the education they deserve, to take advantages of all that the city and the state and the county all have to offer, to make sure. And we move them along that line. And it's people like you in this room who do that, who take them from that very desperate place to a place that moves them ultimately, we hope, to a place where they find a job and a home. And when we do that, then we take them from being somebody who came here looking for food and becomes someone who is now food secure. And when we do that, when you do that, you've changed their lives. And we change enough lives, we change the world. That's what you're doing here, each and every day, in incremental steps, changing the world, making it better for people. And that's what this office, the new office, will help to do. That's what this office does every day Thank you for all that you do. Steve, you're an extraordinary leader. It's your leadership that helps bring us to this, to everybody here, to Mayor Cava, to Diane, to the volunteers. Mayor Cava, you've just done a phenomenal job at recognizing how to build Perth Amboy and those support services that are so desperately needed for so many of those people. And we need to change that 27%. We need to change that. But thank you for all you do. Thanks for helping to change the world. It's a privilege to be with you today. Thanks a lot.
So now we're going to get to a few people that are going to be doing the work, right? So that are making this happen. And so Lisa, if I can ask you to come up. So Lisa's from the, let me make sure I have this right, Resource Development.
Resource Development Manager for Coordinated Family Care.
Hold on, she's much better at this than I am.
Thank you, Steve, for the mic. I enjoy this. Thank you very much. So I don't know if my stand-in speech for my supervisor who was supposed to be here today will be as good as Assemblyman and the Mayor's, but I will try my best. I am Lisa Marie Williams. I am the Resource Development Manager with Coordinated Family Care, and we are the Middlesex County Care Management Organization. So when I heard the Mayor talk about the New Jersey Children's System of Care, first, of course, my heart smiled. Secondly, I really got a chance to think about the evolution of not just Coordinated Family Care as a nonprofit here in Middlesex County who serves 1,400 youth at any given time, who have social, emotional, behavioral health, developmental, substance abuse needs, but also the WISE evolution. I think about how we started, and then I think about how we started together. With the mental health services on an outpatient basis, in the homes, and then I think about where your last funded program with us, which addressed food insecurity again, and now how we got here. And I think that's really important of how we got here, how our New Jersey Children's System of Care got here, being able to provide and make available funding and dollars to expand existing services or create new ones. And I think the Y has not only met us once, and I know this for sure, but now twice, to address the needs of not just Perth Amboy, but really what it looks like in the entire county. So to state the comments of, we know for sure that there are families and kids who come to Perth Amboy from other towns to get services, we know that to be true. We also know that this Healthier Access Office will give the opportunity for not only the New Jersey Children's System of Care enrolled youth and families, but anyone really in need. And the Y has been able to meet in all three categories of how we opened up our RFP, which was food insecurity. We talked about diversity, inclusion, and equity. That's really important, right? If you can't eat and you cannot be assisted in your spoken language, how are you going to access? How are you going to access support? How are you going to access the resources that are available to you? And so having, this ability here with the partnership with VNA really also met that third category of having health access as a social determinant of well-being for families. And so you knocked it out of the park in all three categories, even though you only needed to apply for one. But we really look forward again to seeing what this looks like. Coming in, I feel like such a judge-free zone of just the comfortability, right? The happy faces. Everybody talked here about what it feels like when you are in need. It's not the best place. It's really hard to ask for help sometimes. But then being met with somebody who can understand and who can offer the services is even better. So again, Coordinated Family Care, we are truly grateful for being able to funnel the Department of Children and Families Community Resource Development Fund through our agency by expanding and creating these services here with the Y. And so I hope I did as good as everybody else importantly. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Congratulations again as a recipient.
Yeah, I need more tips, less written word, right? So one of those, I'll say it. There was a good thing that came out of of the pandemic, and one of them is that the Y crossed paths with with Tom, and his team, and they were able to jump into to action. And the VNA was there for vaccinations throughout, and really partnered with the Y on those services. And it was really a hard time for all of us trying to figure out what that new world was. And what Tom, when we were speaking before, I'm really excited to find out what our two organizations are going to be able to, what kind of trouble we're going to be able to get into. Because folks need us. And so I'm going to challenge our team to use their creativity, and I would assume you're going to do the same by our conversation, and really look forward to a long, healthy relationship with you guys. So why don't you come up and say a few things.
Thank you. And we feel the same way. Well, first of all, we faced ourselves in the middle of 2020 with a crisis, and we reacted without worrying about how we were going to pay for it. We wanted to put a team in place with the state and with the counties we serve. And I'm Tom Thies from the VNA of Central Jersey. I'm the executive director of the VNA, which is part of the parent group, VNA Health Group. On behalf of Steve Landers, our outgoing CEO, on behalf of Chris Wren, our incoming CEO, and the executive team and the 2,500 members of our home care, hospice, and 30 grant programs, I'm representing us today as part of our external health services. And we were wondering what we could do, and I built a team that focused on initially testing and then went into vaccines and worked with the state. Where do you need us to go? And we went wherever they asked us, and we went wherever the towns called us, and we went wherever the organizations called us. And one of the organizations, as Steve said, that we found early on in the pandemic was the Y, and we vaccinated over 600 people here in Perth Amboy at the Y, in addition to all the churches we went to, and it's become our, I won't call it the second home, will become one of our primary service areas. In addition to those other programs that happen in Middlesex County that we serve as the VNA of Central Jersey. We have the WIC program here talking about food insecurity. The VNA runs the WIC program for Middlesex County. The VNA provides this incredible program called Nurse Family Partnership, which individualizes services for children in need and families in need, giving birth to children. So those are just some of the things we do in Middlesex. And now we have another thing that we're doing, thanks to Brenda calling me and saying, hey, do you think that you could provide a bilingual nurse on a couple days? By the way, buenos dias. And could that possibly be something that you all could do? And I said, you know what? I don't know. Let's see. And here we are today with Silvana Grew as our initial first bilingual nurse here, providing services this afternoon. If anyone needs blood pressure or any other services, she will be here till 4 o'clock. I'd also like to acknowledge Leonore Chugnowski, who is our lead clinician, and Fran McCloskey, who, while I was out in that field making sure that our team was where they needed to be, Fran was the person making sure that we all knew where we were going. And that was a really important thing, so we showed up at the right place. And so I just want to thank Brenda, Lauren, your team here. This is an amazing place. So when I walked into it, I got the same feeling you did, with this warm and comfortable home trusting place, and now we can be part of that with the health services that we're going to be providing, the wellness services, and we're learning as much as we are. So we just had a conversation over here. Can you provide school-based, physicals? And I said, I don't know. Leonore, can we provide? You're the clinician. Can we provide? Well, the APNs can. Well, of course, we have a school-based nursing team, and they're going to be here on August 31st working with you for school-based physicals for the participants to come. That wasn't existing yesterday. That's so we're going to learn so many more things about what we're going to be doing, and we are so excited to grow with you to continue to provide these services, essential as they are and even more needed today than ever before. And we are going to make that progress that Assemblyman Coughlin talked about and knock that number down in Perth Amboy and also provide great service. So thank you for having us. We're very privileged to be here, and we look forward to working together with you for many years to come, like we have recently. Oh, good, Fran, it's not one of your boxes.
So, before I invite Brenda to give us a prayer, I want everybody to kind of think about this. And I love the dramatic flair of things, and I was going to dump this on the floor, and then everybody would be like, that was pretty dumb, Steve. So, let me just say, As we kind of go through some of this, and you can see the packets of stuff here. Some. So, I'd have a bundle for every person here and then some. There's a table out front that we, quite honestly, decorated, so it was out of sight. So, what this is, anybody take for granted their mailing address? I don't. It's just supposed to be something I have, right? 300 plus people use this center as their address because the system, the access to the system doesn't allow them to be without an address. So when we talk about the very simplest things that people need, let's break it down. That's how simple it is. It's an address so they can get in the system. It's not an email address. It's not a text message, right? So just, when Brenda comes up, and she's going to be inspirational as usual, and, keep that in mind, how simple this work can be, but how complicated the issues are that we need to get people to this point, right? So, Brenda, come on up and lead us in some prayer.
Join me in prayer. Good and gracious God, it is sometimes far too easy to look at the world's needs and the limited resources available and feel completely overwhelmed. It is sometimes far too easy to tire of the work that needs to be done, especially when we realize there is no end to the work that needs to be done. May we be encouraged in the face of our weariness, and may we be reminded that miracles still occur in this world and that they are sometimes planted in us. May our hearts be filled with the energy we need to be the hands and feet of love in action. May this space be a place of refuge and healing for those that have little but need much. Let us enliven our spirits and will, sharing the abundance of creation until all have found equality and health in their lives. Through our work here, may those with little feel your loving grace flow towards them, giving them hope for a better tomorrow. Amen.
Amen. Told you. So, I'm going to slide this out of the way. Before we're going to do a little ribbon cutting, but before that, could the Y team just kind of stand up? I work with the best people. They're all at their best working. But thanks to the whole gang. I'm going to slide this over. All right. Does one come up? Tom, want to come up?
Silvana, you do the honors
Lisa,
for us.
come up?
Yes.
Lauren?
We have to do a little limbo here.
One more time. Yeah.
Why are we going to be cutting this one?
No, I'm not cutting. I'm not a cutter. They're not left the scissors.
Silvana, get in there.
Yeah, there we go.
Laura, you get in there. You're right there, Sam.
Out experience.
Yep, we're all in.
Perfect.
Let's go.
Ready? We gotta count.
3,
3, 2, 1.